What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're diving into my favorite and probably the best hand cannon in the game right now, the Austringer. By now most of you have probably already got this thing unlocked, or you're very close to being able to craft it. That's why I thought it'd be a good idea to go over the god roll, explain why it's the god roll, and showcase some awesome footage all at the same time. So first and foremost, let's go over what the roll I think most people should be rocking. For the frame, it's a no-brainer. You want range so that this thing can hit harder at a greater distance. We don't have to go over any other options here. You could probably make a case for stability, but I would personally stay away from it because we're going to be getting stability in other places on this crafted roll. Barrel wise, you have a couple options here, but the safe bet that you can never go wrong with is hammer forged rifling. Fluted barrel and small bore are both really good options as well, but I'd stay away from everything else on this list. Fluted barrel gives you a lot of stability and handling, but personally it negatively affects range too much for me to justify it over hammer forged rifling. Small bore is a great alternative if you want that extra stability for a slight range hit. Personally, on mouse and keyboard, hammer forged rifling is the first option, followed by small bore, then followed by fluted barrel. While on controller, I'd say small bore is the first best option, followed by hammer forged and then fluted barrel. Moving on to the magazine options, it's really no contest. Ricochet rounds wins all day, every day here. Nice bonus to range and stability without sacrificing anything whatsoever. Remember, this gun has 14 bullets in the magazine stock, so you don't need any more than that, as it's completely unnecessary when it comes to PvP, and this is a PvP gun. Moving on to the perks, in the first column there's not a ton to choose from. I'd argue that the only real viable option here are Snapshot and Eye of the Storm. If you run Warlock with Ophidians, then Snapshot shouldn't even be in the discussion because it's basically useless, and Eye of the Storm is the best by default anyways. Personally though, no matter what class you run, I think Enhanced Eye of the Storm is by far the best first perk because of its synergy with high resilience and high stability on this weapon. When your health is low and your build is right, you basically can't miss any shots, as your recoil, flinch, and all that good stuff is non-existent, and the game is actively going to be buffing your aim assist and bullet magnetism with Eye of the Storm. You get some of the most obvious misses landing because this perk in combination with the previously mentioned builds. And then finally, for the last perk, we're going with Enhanced Range Finder. In this column, there's some better options than the first, so you can play around with what you like here, but I almost always spec meta weapons like the Austringer in ways that help me win a single 1v1 gunfight at a time. I'll only ever run kill chaining or multi-kill potential perks on guns that I prefer running in 6v6 control or clash. Austringer is a gun that falls into the first category as obviously being a meta weapon, so I see myself running this thing in trials or a competitive setting, which basically just means no rampage for me. If you want to use this thing in 6v6 more so than trials, then rampage is probably the go-to option for perk number 2. I also want to give a special shout out to Zen Moment. This could be a great option if you want even more stability and accuracy rather than just focusing on range with rangefinder. Lastly, I want to touch on Opening Shot. This perk is awesome for shotguns and snipers, but not so great on a primary weapon, and so that is why I would stay away from it at all costs on this gun. There are 3 much better options, all of which I just covered a second ago. So that is obviously the setup for this gun. I'm going to go over it once again just to reiterate. We have range for the frame, hammer forged rifling, ricochet rounds, Eye of the Storm enhanced, and rangefinder enhanced for perk number 1 and 2. Now, this is where things get interesting. What kind of mod should you put on this gun? Well, back in the day, and by back in the day I meant like a couple months ago, you'd probably want to go for Icarus grip, especially on mouse and keyboard, but Icarus grip really doesn't do all that much anymore, and it is just kind of useless in my opinion, so I would definitely stay away from it, especially actually not especially on MK, on both. If you're on controller MK, I would stay away from Icarus grip. So what should you put on instead? Well, there's 2 obvious choices, the first being a targeting adjuster and the second being backup mag. I personally was running backup mag on MK and it felt absolutely phenomenal having 14 bullets in the mag. You didn't have to reload very often. You could fight 3 to 4 people before having to reload. And obviously, if you are switching to a secondary like an SMG with Harmony, which I had in the video, It just makes things so easy. And you get a lot of kills without having to reload. You can just, waste your magazine, swap to your secondary, and yeah, you'll really not need to reload until you're out of the gunfight and the engagement. If you are on controller though, then it's going to be a little bit tougher to make up your mind on what you want to use for the mod. Obviously, targeting adjuster is something you cannot go wrong with on controller. It's going to help you land those shots. It's going to be more sticky, more aim assist, all that good stuff, which is of course what we want in a shooter, more aim assist at all times. If you do find yourself struggling with, the low magazine count for this weapon without backup mag, then feel free to put it on. But again, I would highly recommend targeting adjuster for my controller friends. Now, as a quick aside, let's talk about where and how you can quickly level up this gun once you have it crafted. And I know getting 5 red borders in the first place is not easy and will take you a significant amount of time. In a second, I'll talk about why you absolutely should grind for this gun though when you do have some time. So once you craft this gun, you want to go over to everyone's favorite homie, Shirochi in The Last Wish. Put on all hand cannon mods for your armor, a GL of some kind that allows you to wipe quickly, and most importantly, a single shot hunter tether super with Orpheus rigs. Make sure you do not have the fragment on that causes explosions. Go in there and just decimate everything with your Austringer, and you should be level 16 within an hour if you're fast. Now, why is this a gun that you should absolutely go for? Content creators will tell you that every single season when a new hand cannon rolls around. So what's different with this specific gun? Well, it's the best hand cannon in the primary slot, period. I think it's better than the Time Lost Fatebringer and even the AS Luna, and both of those guns are a lot harder to get the God Roll version of because you cannot craft them. And additionally, they obviously do not have the enhanced perks that this weapon can have. You can argue what's better, a crafted God Roll Austringer or a God Roll Adept Palindrome, but at the end of the day, they're in different slots, so preferably you'd want to have both. You can't run a Palindrome with the 1000 yard stare, and on the other side of the coin, you can't run an Austringer with an Eye of Soul. This is why you'd want to get a God Roll version of both of these guns preferably. Yes, right now the meta is pretty garbage. Lemonarchs, Lauren Strivers, Lord of Wolves, Fighting Lions, and Classy Restoration Loreley Warriors are owning in this sandbox. But a day will come when these things are going to get nerfed into the ground and hand cannons will yet again be supreme. That's when you'll be able to absolutely pop off with this gun, and that is when your time will finally be rewarded. That is going to do it for the video though, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, smash that like button, subscribe for more daily Destiny 2 content. If you guys have any comments in regards to the God Roll, if you're running anything different, please comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. Anyways, take care, and as always, your boy nKuch, and he's out.